it just means so much to me. Oh, I'm gonna wag my tail.
Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video of Petey Pingelvie. Yep, that's me. So I got the idea to make a care for your tails video. This video is all about those fluffy butts and what to do with them, what they are, how they're like, how careful you should be with them or how careful you shouldn't be with them. I will give as many advice and tips and tricks I have gathered throughout my Tentorfie experience. So I hope you enjoy this video and lots of fluffy tails, which I know most Terriers love. Start with asking you a question, because there are quite some things you have to consider before getting yourself a tail actually. Are you allowed to get a tail? Are you allowed to get a real fur tail? Like actual animal fur? If you want a tail, how are you going to ask your mom or your roommate or no one if you're an adult? How are you going to get this tail? If you get a tail, where should you wear a tail? Where shouldn't you wear a tail? If you want a tail, why do you want a tail? Ask yourself all of those questions before you actually get a tail, because, well, they're quite extraordinary actually. Let's start with, can you get a tail? Like, are you allowed to have a tail in your home? Ask your parents, ask your dad, your mom, your sister, your roommates, your family member, whoever is sharing the house is. Also consider pets. Some dogs actually tend to grab real fur tails and actually rip them apart because they still smell somehow like animal, and dogs or cats or any other animal can react to it. Also want to consider is, are any of your roommates or family members allergic to real animals? Like, are they allergic to dogs or cats? Maybe you shouldn't get any real pets near them, because real fur is still real animal. So that fox or rabbit or any other animal you're getting fur from, your family member who is allergic to this being can still have allergic reaction to this pelt even if they are dead. Now you want a tail and you think, yeah, okay, it's fine. Now you gotta ask your parents if you can get a tail, and how are you going to do this? Because it's kind of weird actually to go like, hey mom, I want a tail. If that's fake or real, sounds kind of odd, doesn't it? My advice on this part is, ask can I get this tail for a cosplayer or for a costume or for a roleplay or something like that. Like, make a story around this. If your parents know about Tentorfie, you can tell them it's for Tentorfie purposes. If they don't know, however, I highly recommend using the word cosplay. I'm waving around my brush, okay. You got your tail, you have it at home. Either your parents know the full story about Tentorfie about it or they don't. It doesn't really matter. It's always more fun to eventually tell them it's for Tentorfie purposes, because if you can't, that's fine. Now, where should you wear a tail, when should you wear a tail, and when shouldn't you? Take a look at your school rules, because not every school allows any kind of clothes. Some schools have uniforms even, that's even worse, so you absolutely cannot wear a tail. Now you want a tail, you can get a tail and think, why do you want a tail? Is it because you're just wanting to be a Terrier? Stop it! You do not need tail to be a Terrier. Being a Terrier and a tail are two different things. Tails originally weren't even a part of Tentorfie. Tails were a part of Teen Werewolves and Taxidermy. That's what a tail is, guys. A style. Not the symbol for Tentorfie. Not something like a cross is for Christians. It's purely a style. However, it's a real fun thing. I'm a Terrier, I love my tails. I do wear my tails because I'm a Terrier, but not because I want to be a Terrier. I wear them as an add-on on being a Terrier. Like, I'm a Terrier, I like this style, I think it fits well with me, let's try it out. Now you got your tails and you're very scared to do something wrong and you aren't sure actually if you want to wear your tail because it can break. Stop it. Tails are pretty strong things actually. Now, there's a big difference between fake tails and real tails. Now, this is a really small one actually, and most tails are quite a little bit bigger. But it's only fake tail I actually have. Big differences between is, real tails have leather inside of them and real animal fur. Fake tails are most likely fur that's just stuffed like a pillow, or they're like yarn tails, which are like basically a line of yarn you're brushing out to be a tail. Fake, real. Fake is quite a little bit easier, but in my opinion it's real stiff, doesn't move a lot. You see, it's kind of stiff. Real tails move very fluently. Basically the tail is very strong, so the inner side parts, the leather is actually very strong and very much stronger than you think. To feel how strong your tail actually is basically to go from the top to the bottom, like push down, so you can feel the leather and not just the fur. And you'll feel how thick the leather is. The thicker the leather, the stronger the tail. This should be kept back in the head when you bury tail. This one, by example, has very thick leather, so it should be really strong. However, I kind of did a misbuy with this one. This tail wasn't taken really good care of when the maker was like making this tail, like this real fur tail. Because the leather is actually, like the inside leather is literally rotting. And how can you see this, how can you check this actually, is by the insides of the tail. You can actually like open them up. I push my finger right in the tail actually, and I can actually literally open it up. And I'm trying to show you guys, and you can actually see the leather inside. In some cases it's actually glued together, but in this case it isn't. If this tail has these leather parts, you will know it's a real tail. It's basically the big point, so this is a real tail. No fake tail will have leather inside. So this leather, you can see it's kind of brownish, it's even green. This leather is rotting. You can also smell it, it stinks a little bit. Strong leather, thick leather, strong. Is it falling apart? Not anymore. This one, however, this one has a really thick leather. I can't open it up because it's glued together, which is a good thing because it means your tail is even stronger. This fur is sticked. You can especially see that this is all nice and smooth, and then it gets all sticky together. How can you try to solve this? Because I can't. I have tried a million times. Brushing. To brush your tail, for fake tail, it's kind of easy. Just brush it like you will brush any other thing. Like, it doesn't really matter. Just don't pull out too much fur, because fur bought by real as by fake will not grow back. However, this tail can take quite a bit. This tail can't. Fur is easily pulled out and easily destroyed even. Try to be careful with brushing. If you brush, I recommend using this kind of brush, because of those small kinds of things over here. Because they're so small, they can actually brush the real fur. Like, you have those layers on your tail, the upper layers and the down layers. Let's say the down layers you can't easily grip. They're actually like hidden underneath those front layers. Those front fur are easily brushed out just by gently pulling over it. However, you will not get to the inside layers, like the layers underneath them, and there they get sticky. So this one is really good for that, in my opinion. This one is like really much said to be a good brush, because if you will brush your real dog, you will use this too. However, in my opinion, it only brushes like the front layer, like the upper layer, and not the down layers. So the down layers get all sticky and messed up, while the front layers will get real nice and smooth. So I don't really like to use this brush. A good way to don't pull out that much fur is, if you do it this way, it's okay. But if you don't want to pull out as much fur, just do it the other way around. Don't be like against the hairs, but like other way around. No, your tail is all squished suddenly. Like, you put it in the box, or you can sit on it, and it's all squished and messed up, and the hair's sticking everywhere. How do you solve this? I will start to make it messy a bit. Messy and fur sticking everywhere. Good tip is upside down, strike against the hairs, downstairs, all against the hairs. The hairs are fully pointing out. Back again and swiggle around. Your tail will be the smoothest and the fluffiest it has ever been. The next part is about the dangers with tails. Fake tails, real tails. What kind of dangers should I keep in mind? Fake tails, not that many actually. They are quite okay, they're strong, they can take a lot, you can wash them, you don't have to be afraid for water, not actually for it getting dirty because you can wash it, so they are quite okay. Real furs, that's a bit of another story. There are some things you want to keep in mind actually, especially the part of water. Now, leather, if leather gets wet, it gets hard and sticky and this tough being, and if you then pull or you just twist it or anything like that, the leather will break. So don't get it wet. However, don't freak out, it can get some rain, especially snow, it's not problem occasionally. Just don't put it in a bucket of water and it should be fine. Why? Why is like rain and snow okay, but like a bucket of water not? Because if you are rolling in the snow, it gets like soaking wet, doesn't it? No, actually not. In my experience, tails have this kind of oil on them. The cruel animal, a fox or a deer or a dog or a cat or a rabbit, they have these oils on their skin to keep the water outside of their fur, so they don't get all too wet and cold. Those things might be dead, but they still have those oils in them. Plus, the makers who are making those tails into keychains and whatnot, they actually put another coating over it to keep the tail from rotting and keep it from getting actually even wet. That's actually a thing they actually do. From the smell getting out of it, dyeing the tail, like giving it color and stuff like that, actually makes your tail water resistant. So if you get some water on them, like some drops of rain, it actually just keeps laying on the fur. It doesn't get in the fur, so it doesn't get wet. The water just stays on the fur instead of in the fur. So the leather inside, which is covered by a lot of fur, doesn't get wet. However, of course, if you swim with your tail or you put your tail right into a bucket of water, it gets wet. So you shouldn't be all too worried out for it being wet or breaking or anything like that. Just don't pull, be careful when sitting down or playing with others that you don't pull your tail. The keychain is the biggest problem actually of breaking, easily fixed. These are my tails. Dyed fox, blue fox, don't know, fake tail. And I'll see you in my next video. Woof, Petey!